Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. There's a famous saying around the world that first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, and then they fight you, and then you win. Now, MGTOW case, first they ignored us, then they started laughing at us, that calling us all man babies and incels and all the other things. Now they started to fight us because they understand that we're on a winning streak. This is one of the things that they used to fight us. It's a site called We Hunted the Mammoth, and it's subtitled Misogyny Tracked and Mocked. It was written on the 8th of December 2020, which is about 2 months ago, getting on for 3 months ago. As you can see, it says MGTOW Redditors agree COVID is the best thing that ever happened to MGTOWs. Now this site is not MGTOW friendly at all. It says nearly 300,000 Americans have died of COVID already, and cases are spiking nationwide. Meanwhile, over in the Men Going Their Own Way subreddit, the regulars have been talking about what a great thing COVID has been for MGTOWs. Maybe. At least according to their own perverse logic. As I said, this is not MGTOW friendly. And it says COVID was really the best thing for MGTOW yet. If you click on that, you go into Reddit, but I can't enter it, so I have no idea what's going on. Someone called Lucio700 declared in a recent thread that his fellow MGTOWs were quick to agree. But the reasons they gave this time around are a bit more varied than the ones they gave last time. Now, the comment called Fobito Bandito 214 set forth a whole list of the reasons he thinks COVID has been a gift to MGTOWs and men more generally. Now, here's a list of this. We can keep away from women. Restaurants are closed, no expensive meals to buy, so you don't take a woman out for a meal. MGTOWs don't do that anyway. A guy who's a MGTOW can quite happily settle down with a can of beer and a pizza for an evening meal. Strong women are being forced to stay at home to deal with and homeschool the children they've unleashed on society. It probably means the single mothers with fathers nowhere to be seen. Men on detention halls versus women who are losing their minds in quarantine and no one around to give them attention. There's an element of truth in that. Enter OnlyFans expose them to the true whores they are. Well, I don't agree with that. But as for Enter OnlyFans, as I pointed out in my last video, there's a masses of American women that are heading for a massive reality check in the fact that OnlyFans is not going to provide them with an income. As I said, the only women that aren't going to get any decent money are those with established social media fan bases, i.e. the established porn stars, the established top-end models, and of course the established top-end celebrities. Everybody else will make probably a little bit of money or a little bit more than a little bit of money, but nowhere near on the scale that those three categories of women are going to make. Also some men, of course. As it says, MGTOW men for the most part live a life of solitude, so it's business as usual during this pandemic. I can agree on that. I live on my own and I rarely see my neighbours. The only people I ever see are those at work, and most of the time here, the only thing moving outside is the wind. So I'm quite happy on my own. I've always been a bit of a loner in my way I am, but I find plenty of things to do, and I might be on my own, but I rarely feel lonely. But anyway, other commentators suggest that COVID was exposing women's perfidy and tendency to cheat in relationships. They can't hide the truth of their beta provider about Chad and Tyrone, or some women sending text messages and late night phone calls to Chad and Tyrone as the beta provider is asleep or doing something else. It says look for those COVID red flag guys. Something that COVID is essentially makes the case for MGTOW for them. From a purely social perspective, it has given men much firmer ground to stand on for not wanting to go to the traditional marriage, kids and soul-crushing job route. I can agree with that. it said for men going their own way. If the guy wants to go his own way, that is a completely decision based on him alone. If he wants to leave, stop being a MGTOW and go along that route, fine. It's his decision. Who can argue somebody anymore not wanting to do that? And while we all knew what we were doing, now we all have to do is point to the events of 2020 and shut down everybody getting upset about it. Don't know what he means by that, but anyway. And others say, a guy called Non-Woke said, it brings some balance back into play. Monkey branch is extremely hard after major disasters such as World War. Which is true. Women cannot monkey branch during a major disaster like this pandemic. But as soon as everything goes back to normal to a degree, will there be a spike in divorces? Will women start monkey branching again? Be interesting to find out what happens. And others waxed respondic about the possibility of even more apoplectic social chaos. I don't agree with that. And this article guy says, keep dreaming boys. As I said, it's anti-MGTOW. If you go down to the bottom, you see 3 similar threads, all anti-MGTOW. And if you go to the comments, you see lots of anti-MGTOW posts nitpicking about the article and about MGTOWs in general. But they all don't seem to understand that MGTOW is becoming unstoppable. The numbers are growing all over the world. Let's see what Google Trends has. Google Trends. MGTOW. Whoops. W. Up and down. It's not on decline. That was when the article was made, December, and it dropped a bit. Now it's going up and down, up and down. Washington State, biggest interest in MGTOW. Let's see what it says about feminism. Back. Feminism. The female version of MGTOW. About the same, but not as big a jump as MGTOWs. Let's just get back to that. Whoops. Silly boy. What'd you do that for? MGTOW. We had a spike in March this year. Now it's dropped down again, but then it's slowly starting to climb again. But anyway, this article is the fighting bit. When they can't fight us, then they'll start to get worried, and then MGTOW will win, and feminism will have to go into steep decline while things balance out. Otherwise, the population's going to go down, governments are going to lose revenue, and no doubt the women will start blaming men for it. But if they want someone to blame, I suggest women, and especially feminist women, simply look in a mirror, and that's the reason why it's happening. Right, I think this video's gone on long enough. Sorry it's a bit spotty, people, but I can't find much to talk about at all on the MGTOW front except things like this. Right, you know the routine. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So until next Monday, I'll probably will go on to Star Wars, as this well is a bit dry at the moment. That's it for this one. Bye-bye.